Good morning, friends. It's Tuesday. It's 10 a.m. Someone in Coronado, California is trying to call me. I am not going to answer because I know what they want. Good morning, Joe. Um, they want to annoy me about a house that I do not own that was listed for sale in Del Mar, California, that was then unlisted, and they're trying to get me to sell the house that I do not own. Somehow, my phone number got attached to that property listing, and so they keep harassing me, all of them, and they won't tell me how to stop it. That's why I'm not going to answer it. I've got my coffee. Maybe you've got your beverage. Maybe you've got your water. It's coffee and conversations. Hopefully you're having a great day so far. It's beautiful Tuesday morning. Don't forget that if you want to throw some questions in the comment section, I will endeavor to answer them at the end if there are any there. Sometimes we have them, sometimes we don't. Most of the time we don't. But I will gladly endeavor to answer any you might put in there. This morning we're going to work through Acts chapter 17, verses 16 to, I think we're going to go just before Paul starts speaking in the Areopagus. I think I said that right. It's not in front of me. But we're going to cover Paul's ministry in Athens. He goes into this long speech at part of it, and so I don't think we'll do that part today. We'll probably do that next week because there's some very specific things in there that I want to highlight, and I want to make sure we cover them. So we'll probably end up going through verse 21 this morning. And then by way of announcements, this is really kind of the only one I can think of is the mission fund drive. That's how they write it with Value Village. And so we're collecting bags of clothes and accessories and those things, and we will get paid by Value Village per pound, and so you can fill those 13 gallon white trash bags or the 30-ish gallon black trash bags with good usable clothing. They can't take raggedy sheets or towels or anything. You can't bring underwear. Don't do that. But usable, sellable clothing and blankets and towels and that type of stuff. It needs to be clean. So don't bring us a bunch of your dirty laundry. So we would love for you to help support the missions trip by helping with that, by donating stuff like clean out your closet, stuff that you haven't worn in years that's still good that someone else could use. Don't let moths destroy those things. Don't lay up your treasures on earth, but lay them up in heaven. So clean out that closet, get rid of that stuff you're not going to use, and bring it and help support the mission trip, help support our efforts to go and encourage missionaries in their ministry. So as we help those who go, we are participants in their efforts. 2 John or 3 John, I think it's 3 John verse 9, says something to the degree of when we support those who are going, it's as if we are going ourselves. And so we have the opportunity to support those who are going and support those who have gone. And so we would like to do that. You might not be able to go on a mission trip. You might not be able to go do cross-cultural ministry on another part of the world. You may not be able to physically leave your this area to go be a minister of the gospel in other places to help people know the Lord. But you can support those who go, and then you can be one who seeks to minister to people here. So we would love for you to support that endeavor by bringing those bags. You can bring them on Sunday. You can bring them during the week when the office is open. We would love for you to assist in those endeavors. So with that in mind, let's jump to Acts chapter 17, and we will look at verses 16 to 21 and see what the Apostle Paul does. So Paul is in Athens, and he's waiting for Silas and Timothy. He's waiting for them to come to him, and he's in this well-known city. that is known for its grandeur, for its religious worship, its Athens, Greece. We all know it. It's famous. He's in this famous town, and while he's there, while he's waiting for them, his spirit, his human spirit, was provoked. He was bothered by what was happening around him. He was bothered by what he was observing. I think we've all felt those moments where we are provoked, where we are bothered by what is happening around us in society. We saw things in 2020 that provoked us when I would assume most of us saw what was happening in Seattle and at Chopped, where they were, this is an independent zone, and it was just mayhem, and we saw riots and those things. We are provoked within us. Our spirit is bothered by it. This is what Paul is experiencing. He's bothered by what he sees, and it's not social unrest that bothers him. It's not people having a different political perspective that bothers him. It's not people doing things that are culturally bothersome to him. Look at what it says. Within him, his spirit was provoked within him as he saw the city was full of idols. The religious tenor of the city of Athens in Greece was full of idolatry. Paul is bothered by the fact that there are people buying into the lies of idolatry, of religious worship of other things. It provokes his spirit. He does not want people to be worshiping idols, false gods, the demons. These are bad things for the people to worship, and it pains him to see people pursuing false gods. He does not want to see people lied to and believe lies about these false deities that have no power, that are just idols, that have here, let's create this idol to worship, and it has power and we can trust it to do things, but we made it with our hands. It's such foolishness, and yet the people would believe it, and people believe it even today. We have idolatry, friends. Let's be abundantly clear. It may not be the type of religious idolatry that Paul experienced in Athens, but we have idolatry of the self, where the self is promoted above all things. We have idolatry of money. We have idolatry of possessions. We have idolatry of power. Friends, there are idols everywhere. Idolatry is a perpetual human problem. John Calvin said that the human heart is an idol factory. If we do not worship Yahweh, if we do not worship the God of the universe, if we do not worship Jesus, we will make an idol. We will create something to worship because it's who God made us to be. He created us to be worshipers, and so we find something to worship. It should be God, but people worship all kinds of other things. They worship other people. They worship celebrities. They worship athletes. They worship politicians. They worship systems of thought. They worship political parties. They worship money, wealth, prestige, comfort, pleasure. Humanity is good at making idols to worship. That's why we need God. We need to worship the true God. We need to worship He who is the creator, who is the only one that can sufficiently handle our worship. Every other deity, every other idol we create will fail us. The only one that will never fail us is God, is Jesus, because He will never leave us nor forsake us. He is with us always to the end of the age. He will care for us. So Paul is provoked by this reality that there's these people worshiping false idols. And so he, I forgot to put that on. I'm like talking at the camera, expecting you to see my hands, and you couldn't see it. So I was really animated, if you couldn't tell by my voice. Paul is provoked by people worshiping idols, and so he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and devout persons. So those would be God-fearers, people who have chosen to follow Yahweh and want to worship the God of Israel. And he goes in and he reasons in the synagogue, probably on the Sabbath, on Saturdays, with those who are God-fearers and those who are Jewish by background. He's trying to convince them of the truth that Jesus is the Christ and the Messiah, and he died and rose again, that it was prophesied. He's doing his normal practice of going to that place. But then he's also in the marketplace every day with those who happen to be there. He is going to the place where he will find others he can talk to about the gospel. He is not just sitting in a room by himself. He is seeking to win the city for the Lord. He is seeking to teach them about the truth that there is only one God, and that God saves, and that God is the God of Israel, and that God is Jesus, and he is going to seek to win them to the Lord. Friends, are you seeking opportunities to tell people about Jesus, about the good news of the gospel, that God has saved us from our sins, that anything else is idolatry and it doesn't save and it won't help you in the end? We need to be about this business. We need to seek out opportunities. It is so easy to fill our time with other things, even good things, and ignore the fact that there are people all around us who are pursuing idols that will not satisfy. We need to seek to help others know that there is one hope, and it's in Jesus. So he goes to the Epicureans and the Stoic philosophers, and they converse with him. They want to have a conversation. They are open to this dialogue. These are the two most prominent Greek philosophical systems at the time, and they want to talk with Paul. And they say, this guy's a babbler. And this word actually gives the connotation of like a chicken pecking at the ground. According to the study Bible I read, it gives this idea of a chicken that would go around pecking the ground. And they're accusing him of, he just picks up ideas and he doesn't really understand them. He hasn't really fully comprehended them. But he picks it up and then he says it to other people without considering the full implications of it. And that's not what he is doing. And then others said he seems to be a preacher of foreign divinities because he was preaching Jesus and the resurrection. Ooh. Well, of course, he's preaching the one true divinity, the one true God, the God who created everything, which he will get to in the rest of the chapter, but we won't get there today. And they took him and brought him to the Areopagus, saying, "May we know what this new teaching is that you are presenting? For you bring some strange things to our ears." The message of the gospel is, to some degree, strange. It is not the norm. It's foolishness to the Greek. It's a stumbling block to the Jews. Paul is preaching something that at first glance makes little sense to even them in their day. Oftentimes you'll hear people say, well, when people believed that Jesus rose from the dead, they just didn't fully understand how things worked. No, friends. They understand that dead people don't rise from the grave. They understood that if you're dead, you're dead. But Paul is preaching the message of the resurrection because it's true. They are saying, this makes no sense to us. It's strange to us. Strange that the God of the universe would indwell human flesh, and that there is a God over everything. He is presenting them with a radically different worldview and a different set of circumstances than they are used to. And so they want to know more about it. It says, "We wish to know, therefore, what these things mean. Friends, are you putting yourself in positions to interact with people that if they wanted to know about Jesus, they would be able to ask you about it? Are you putting yourself in circumstances where you interact with people who don't know about Jesus? We need to consider that we can shape our lives and we can organize our lives in such a way that we can put ourselves in positions to share the gospel with other people. We want to share the gospel with other people because it's the only way people are saved. Friends, the people out there that don't know him, they're perishing. That we should want to help them not perish. I was recently got an email from some Christian newsletter, and they were talking about how you talk to people who don't go to church, who maybe didn't grow up in the church, the world around us. They don't even really know who Jesus is. They don't even know, like the person was like, they didn't know about Moses. They didn't know about the Exodus. They didn't know anything about Jesus other than Jesus was connected to Christianity. They couldn't even articulate why Jesus was significant. Friends, we got to tell people because they're following false idols, and it should bother us that there are people around us that are following false idols. We should be provoked within us, like Paul was, at the situation of the world around us and do something about it. We got to teach people. We got to preach to people. We got to share with them. We got to tell them our testimony and what God has done, and then transition to sharing the truth of the gospel with them. Friends, those people who are following after false idols, after idols, false gods, they're perishing. And that's why Paul's provoked. He says, we wish to know, therefore, what these things mean. They're giving him the opportunity to have a hearing. Are we putting ourselves in the position even to have that? There's going to be people who are hostile. Paul has experienced hostile people. But these people want to hear. Are we putting ourselves in the position to give others a hearing? It says, now all the Athenians and foreigners who live there would spend their time in nothing except telling and hearing something new. These people love to hear new stories. These people love to hear about various ideas and thoughts, and they love to converse and talk to people about things. Paul is finding an avenue to speak to them in a way that they will understand. And we're going to see that next week when we look at the rest of his interaction in Athens, when he has the opportunity to share the gospel with people. He's going to connect it to things that they are already familiar with and know. And we want to follow his example. But friends, are we provoked by the condition of those who are far from God? Are we bothered by the idols that we see and that people buy into? We should be, and we should seek to win them to the Lord in light of that. We shouldn't just sit there and say, the world around us is falling apart. Like, no. Like when we're provoked, when our spirit is bothered, we should seek to do something about it, which is preaching the gospel, share the gospel with people, look for opportunities to share the truth that anything other than Jesus is not going to satisfy. Friends, I hope you will consider ways that you can interact with people who don't know the Lord in positive ways that you can point them to and talk to them about it and share your heart and your hope for them. Friends, when we think about the reality that there are people out there who don't know Jesus and their eternal destiny as a result of that, it should bother us. We shouldn't want to see anyone perish. The Lord doesn't want to see anyone perish. And he calls us to go to those who don't know. So, friends, I hope you'll take that as an encouragement to pray for opportunities to share the gospel, and that you pray for God to make in you a heart of being no longer being indifferent to the condition of those around us. May you, as a result of his word, develop the heart that he has for the world around us. And may we be faithful to be like Paul and seek to reason with those who we perceive as close, like the Jews in the synagogue, and then also in the marketplace, those that we can come into contact to on a regular basis. As you do so, friends, I pray that the Lord will use you to minister to those that you encounter on a regular basis. All right. We've got no questions in the Q&A or in the comments, so I'm going to sign off. If you need anything, you let us know, and I will see you on Sunday.